All right, Workflow Wednesday. Let's go ahead and take a look here. So what I have is I have an artist, and that artist has a form, and his form is set up in a particular way, right? We're trying to qualify the clients. We want clients to know that he only does this style, not any other style. And we also want clients to send a few different reference pictures as well as agree to the pricing and understand how far out he's booking. So we're going to make this workflow a little bit different in his sub account. So let's go ahead and go over there. And actually, let's take a look at, where's my Gmail? So when they reply, so when I have somebody fill out a consultation form, it comes to me, goes over to him, they send an automatic reply. The one issue with sending automatic reply from Gmail is there's not like a timing element. So I don't think you can like wait. It just seems like a bot right off the bat. So Alyssa introduces herself. I think we're going to keep that part because I think that's a good, very human element. It tells when James is booking. And it also says that we offer a wait list in case we open up before that, once you booked an appointment. So if you're still interested, please send the following. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut this up. This is going to be a text. Maybe it will have a confirmation button for them. Then it's going to send an email or a form that asks for all this stuff, right? So we want to figure that out too. So maybe that button will send them straight to a survey. And on that survey, page 1 is, hey, we want to know what's the description of your tattoo. Send us a photo of the location. Send us reference photos. I also know that he wants photos of his own work that the client likes, so he knows which direction he's going and what's your best contact number. From there, he's going to create a custom design based on the client's ideas, and then they tell what he doesn't do also, right? This might also be okay up here. Or really, probably first page of the form. Cool, I want to move ahead. You want to move ahead? Great, awesome. Here is my day rate, but I've lowered it to X in Montana if you're paying with an app, or this is your flat all the cash payment and a $400 non-refundable deposit that goes towards the total cost required to book each appointment. So perfect, right? He's offering a deal for cash, which is great because the charge on bringing a card here is more than the 3% that it would otherwise take to run the card. And so what that means is that there's incentive here for people to bring cash. He wants people to bring cash. They bring cash. There you go. You are going to need a credit card to book your deposit, right? Your dates. So note, the deposit does not need to be paid in cash to get the discount. Once requested information is received, consultation will be set up. So that's what I'm looking for, right? The next thing I'm going to have to find out is we're going to send a text. That text is going to go to a survey that's going to have multiple pages that explains all of this stuff. And then once this comes in and everything is filled out, she will either approve or deny it. If she denies it, then she needs to get in touch and get involved with the people. Otherwise, she can approve it. If she approves it, a conversation will be started that will set that appointment. And I don't know what that looks like for him, so we're going to get to that part in a minute. So first order of business, we're going to go ahead and go to his account and consultation request. We're going to duplicate this because that's fine. And we'll just work in here for a minute. So, we're in forms. I'm in the wrong place. And let's get rid of this then. Come over here to consultation handling. So consultation in form is great. All right. So we will have to change that form. So I deleted that for no reason. Let's go ahead and duplicate this. So the initial form is going to come in that has name, number, email. That's it, right? That's fine. Create. Assign to Alyssa, send a text message. Hey, my name is Alyssa. I handle admin for James. Cool. So we're going to dump this part and we're going to put that in here. Thank you for inquiring and your interest in James's work. I'm Alyssa, his scheduling coordinator. James is currently booking October through December 2025, January, February of 2026. We also offer a wait list for cancellations for appointments. If interested, please fill. And we can put a link here as a custom value. We'll deal with that in a minute. And then so they should just link to, this should be interest form. We'll call this the interest form. And then let's actually open up another one of these. And we're going to go to James's forms, sites, forms, duplicate, interest registered. And this form is not taking any tattoo information. It's just for people to say, I'm interested. Here's my name and number. So that's totally chill. We're just going to say, take all this stuff off here for now. This we need. I don't know why we need this. And then we've got his logo, and that's perfect. That's probably enough, right? And so we're going to save this, come back over here. And so now all we've really done is we've already got their information and we have sent them this extra link. And so what I can do on my end as a shop owner is I can just duplicate this part of the workflow so that when the client shows interest, I would get notified and they would get into my marketing, and then they would get this message back, this exact message that sends them to his consultation. So I don't have any of their other information. I don't know what the tattoo is. I don't know what the pricing is. I don't know what they've agreed to. We just send them this. Hey, this is, and I would probably copy it and say, this is Monica from Montana Tattoo Company. James is currently booking. Now, the thing here is what we should really, really do, and this is for Alyssa, so hopefully this eventually gets to Alyssa, is that when you have right here, currently booking, this should be in the custom values. So we're going to go to settings, calendars, custom values, and we're going to make a new value called currently booking. And what we're going to put in here is this exact phrase. James is currently booking. We're going to copy this and put it in here, and we don't need a folder. Now what we're going to do is copy this, replace this with that code. And now anytime this code is used, it's going to put that sentence in here, and as well as everywhere else that it's ever used. So if you use this on a web page and then you update that value on this custom values page, right? It will update when you're booking everywhere, in every email, in every text message, in every page, on everything. So having that piece of information is one thing. We're also going to want deposit policy, and we're going to do that right. Where's my Gmail? Not this one, this one. We can actually just do this for now until we see how they want to do it. And we're going to say, great, pricing. So now all we need to do is put the pricing policy custom code right here, custom value, anywhere, and it's going to give us all this information. So now these people get the form. This workflow can be done, right? There doesn't need to be any true, any false. This is just interest. And the reason that it's important to use custom values is, let's say that in a year, he's doubled his price or cut it in half, right? It's an insane mission to go hunt every workflow, every message, everything, everywhere, and find that old information and get it out. It's much, much easier to understand the system and know that, hey, I'm going to put my deposit policy over here, and then I'm going to use those values when I write my copy. This way, as time goes on and things change, that just gets updated. But then the only thing you have to do is remember, when you write that sentence, write it so that it can go in the middle of another sentence or a paragraph or whatever your layout's going to be. That way you don't have to get in and edit it each time for where it's going to go. And that's it. So now that people have clicked the link, filled out their form. Actually, let's go ahead and give this. So they've clicked the link, they fill out the form that just sends their information. They're assigned to Alyssa, and Alyssa has sent this message that says, maybe I didn't I didn't save my form. So let's go find that real quick. So go back to sites, forms, interest registered, integrate, share, copy, save action, save. Cool. Now we want to get people to that form, right? What we want to do is come back over here into his sites, website, tattoo website. Should be a link tree in here or a link in bio. And now I'm going to wait until I talk to him about this, but I can just link that same link, right? And so we can open the pop-up. That's what we're already doing. We can change this pop-up to be, well, we're going to need a black background or some kind of background. Here we go. No background color. Great. With the background color black. This one too. Black. Pop-up settings. Background also black. It's okay. Cool. I like that. Overlay color. Let's do this. Go ahead and go 50% transparency. So all we have to do is come up here to the pop-up and change which form we want. And we can say, no, we don't want that. That'll let us actually fix the form if anything's wrong with it. Oh, I made a page for consultations. That'll be unnecessary now. Click the link in bio, form pops up. We can change this to interest registered. And then as soon as people put something in, within a minute, they're going to have something back from Melissa that says, hey, thanks. We just wanted you to know if that's, this is the wait time. If that works for you, then please fill out the full paperwork. So for now, we're going to go ahead and switch this back because we're not going live with this yet. We're going to save, publish, all that. And then I'm going to do another workflow for them. Let's see if I already put it in here. Nothing from Instagram. So I'm going to go ahead and take another workflow that I have over here. We're going to just search for the gram. We're going to copy this to another sub account, which is going to be my boy. Come back to his sub account and we have Instagram comment automation. So what this is going to do is we want somebody to say in Instagram, his account's not set up. So that's perfect. So what's going to happen is if somebody on his Instagram account says this phrase, consult or consultation is the trigger words, and the page is his page and the post is live or whatever, then it's going to automatically trigger a conversation that gets him to that same link, right? So multiple ways to get into the same workflows, right? So it says we can't leave this stuff empty, but it's already empty, so we're going to leave it anyway. So wait 1 minute, respond on comment. Hey, all this stuff looks fine. Awesome, sent to your inbox. Sick, I'll send it now. You rock, DM inbox. Okay, so I don't want them all to be the same, but I don't want to change them all up. I'll use all my good stuff for other people, but he can get back in there and change those if he wants. So that's just the response to the comment. And then it's also going to send a DM. And that DM is going to say, hey, nice to meet you. Thank you for your interest. The link to get in touch with my booking agent is here. Let's see if I still have it. Bam. And so this will get them to that first message, right? Name, first name, last name, number, email. Pretty simple. We're going to ask them for that again, but we want to get through a couple of things, namely letting them know that you can't do walk-ins and the pricing, right? So we're going to start with the walk-ins. We've introduced Alyssa. Hey, I'm Alyssa. I am James's booking agent. It's actually James's wife, but I'm not sure if he wants to put that in there. And then we got to make a survey that asks for all this stuff. And so they will click and say they're good to go. Then she will check the survey. So actually, let's go ahead and make sure this is done here. James, we're just going to save this until I talk to him. And then we can probably delete this, but this is just a reply that says, awesome, you rock, adds him to the Facebook audience, removes him from the workflow. I don't even think he's going to need this, right? Like the people either say they want to book. We could set this up so that people can ask about pricing, booking, lead time, that sort of thing. But we're going to leave it for now. And we're going to come back over here and we're going to go to sites, forms, surveys. We want to do surveys actually. Tattoo consent, tattoo consultation full. So I set this up, haven't gone anywhere with it. So we want to do everything black. We want the header image to be, we're going to need to go to desktop, stickers. I think we can do this for now. It's a little bit formal, but that's okay. Instead of we're changing to black everywhere, I should say. Input field label, custom hook footer. There should be a thing on here for button color, background fill. We'll go with that for now. Okay. So phone number, email, that's how we keep track of you. Date of birth, what city are you out of? I don't think he cares what city you're out of. I'm going to add a slide. We're going to actually move this slide up. We're going to check out what this says. Copy. And so we want a text area here. We're going to need another one too. He is a very humble guy, so I'm going to tune it up. So thank you for your interest in working with me. I need a few things to ensure I have all of your ideas down before we can schedule a call. Down, and we are in alignment. I'm using this a lot lately because I think it's a pretty good descriptor of what we're going for. We want people to be aligned both ways, right? Like you want the client that wants to work with you. You also, as a client, want to work with somebody who's aligned with your values, goals, styles. And so I think that's the 30 points. And we're going to knock this stuff down to 20. Okay. From you, we're going to center this period. Please provide, boom. I will need a brief description of your tattoo concept, photos of desired location, any reference, photos, best contact number. And then we want this. We're going to do this thing. So we want a checkbox, and we're just going to take this whole thing and put all of it up there. Come on. Well, we'll just go this way. Actually, we'll go this way. I understand James does not do any of this other stuff. Now, the thing here is I should probably make these 3 different ones. Copy, paste. And we're just going to make this maybe a couple of paragraphs. Well, let me do it in paragraphs. Okay, so we're going to work on this. We might change this later. I call this the style agreement based on his client's ideas being provided solely in his style. I understand he does not do full color realism, traditional geometric. He also doesn't do any reworks. And we have all this. So they have to agree. Nope, did I mess that up? I did mess that up. So we're gonna have to open this up, take this, put this here. Now this is something we talked about, to get a couple of favorite photos of his own work. And the reason is to just make sure that, you know, you're into the stuff that the client's into. When I worked this way with an artist overseas before, that's kind of what they said is like, hey, here's all my favorite pieces. Take the ones that you like and move them over to this other folder so that I know that we're working on the right style and that you're not asking for the latest thing or you're not asking for something that I'm not doing anymore. So that's what we're going to have on the first page. And then it'll say next. This is where we have personal info. We might actually save that to the end. If so, we'll go ahead and move this up here. Here we want tattoo description, desired location, and then we're gonna have to look at his old form for this. Go back to this. So we have all this covered. I kind of want this. So I like this where it's preferred styles and deferred styles and they're separated. I don't know if it is gonna make any difference, so we're just gonna leave it the way they have it. So all we had was size and placement, description, place for reference, photos, budget. We want to stay away from asking for a budget. I think that's what we're gonna do in this one. Is we're just going to say, hey, this is how much a day is. Here's some images that show what you get in a day, and that's what it costs. I agree to be contacted, all that. So really just tattoo description and some reference photos. So tattoo. Now, I like to ask the description stuff at the end because it kind of forces people to put only the right information in at the right time. Size, placement. Now we're going to do an image. Nope, we don't want that. I did it wrong. File download. Upload, placement, please input, short label, placeholder. Yeah, there we go. So please include a flat, easy to see photo of the area and surrounding because we want to make sure that we know what other tattoos are coming in around that. Let's go ahead and take a look over here. So now we want design reference 1. We're also going to do design reference 2. And then we're going to add another slide here that says, so I work hard to produce awesome tattoos and I feel that's done best when I stay within my given style. Please include 2 of your favorite pieces of my work. And then we're going to include 2 file uploads here. And we're going to call this JS Ref 1 and JS Ref 2. Cool. And then down here, we're going to add one that is for pricing. So here we're going to do text and we will actually just go ahead and copy and paste this. Actually, we're going to make this way. So it's big. And then we're going to move this down low. Las Vegas rate is still $3K period in Montana to blank or $2K day flat all cash, $1,000 half day rate. $400 non-refundable deposit. Nope. And then this is all duplicate. And what this does especially by calling out this rate, it's called price anchoring. So like you're telling people, hey, this is what I normally charge. This is the deal I'm willing to give. I think this is great because it still like applies to your travel. If you're traveling that far, then you're making more radio confirmation. Let's do pricing confirmation. So I have read and understand the pricing and deposit structure. We can get rid of these 2 because we don't care. But we do want to make this required. And as a matter of fact, we want to make these required too. So we're going to make this required, tattoo size and placement, photo required, description required, design reference 2 is not required, style agreement is required to move forward. So we're going to say, awesome, dude. So I can keep it all together. Then end it off and we'll be into ASAP. So now we know that everything on this entire form is mandatory to get to the next step or to get to the end step. It will not let you fill this all out if you haven't done all of this stuff. We want a date of birth required. He doesn't really deal with minors, so that might not be that big of a deal. And what minor has $2,000 to spend on a tattoo? So it kind of might not come up with him. So we'll go ahead and knock it out. First name, phone number, email. I consent to receive Boom, boom, boom. Privacy policy, terms of service. I know that's all good. Save. Now let's see what happens on submit. Now, and we can change this later. Save. Now there is, all right, I'm not seeing it right now, so maybe they moved it, but there's generally a thing over here on the right-hand side that says on submit and tells you what you're going to do in such an instance. So what's this? Open conditional logic, notification settings. So notification setting is great. Email notification, autoresponder. Send an automated email to the person who submits the survey. Boom. Subject, reply to. Give this credit to Alyssa. Reply to email. What is it? Reply to email. I think it's tattooJamesStrickland@gmail.com. Or let's go to settings, billing profile. That's my profile because it's my link. So we're just going to go ahead and use this email. Booking at tattooJamesStrickland, tattoo consultation full record. So we're not going to do this notification. Maybe we will. It might be the easiest. Actually, we don't want to do that. Cancel. So we're going to save this. I am more privy to the workflows. So we're going to knock this out because it's going to be too much. So now what we've worked through so far is you post on Instagram, you put on Instagram, comment for a consult. Now you can change those words. You can change what that is. You can say Kalamazoo for a consultation, whatever you want it to be. Whatever you're telling people needs to be the trigger that is kicking it off. So then either via that or using the link in bio, both ways you can get to a form that just takes the basic information, phone, email, name. Once they do that, a minute later, Alyssa will be sending them a text, obviously from the same account, that says, hey, this is Alyssa. I just wanted you to know when James is booking out for. And if you're all good with that, then here's a link to fill out the full consultation form, and that will get you to a phone call. So you're letting the clients know each step what to expect to get to the next step. So nobody's laying in wait at any point in time. On this form, it tells them, hey, this is the stuff I need. So don't get too crazy into this form if you don't have all this stuff. Then it also is an agreement. Hey, I understand James creates custom designs based on his client's ideas. I agree. Then we have I work hard to produce tattoos. I'm in my own style. What are your two favorites of my work? And we're actually going to center this. I like it better this way than centered. And then same here. Select it all, make it stretch out, make sure there's a confirmation there on the pricing. We don't have to ask budget. If they know what the pricing is, you're good. And they can save up to $1,000 a day by booking in Montana and bringing cash. Awesome. I know it's been a lot already. Just put your personal information here so I can keep it all together. Then send it off, and I will be in touch for a phone consult ASAP, right? Lets them know what to expect next, lets them know what's happening, takes their information, gets the approval. Let's go ahead and get his number out of here. And I think we're going to change this number later, but that's fine, because that's a direct line and I know it. Boom. And so now we've gotten all the way to where your consultation form is in. We want to make sure that all of this is going to the right spot. So this is what we're going to do. Custom fields. We want by folder, survey, tattoo, consultation, full. Bam, look at us go, dude. So tattoo size and placement, description, pricing, design reference 1, placement reference, style agreement, everything's there. So we're going to want description first, placement reference under placement, design reference photos under design, style agreement, reference 1, reference 2, and pricing confirmation. And so the reason this is important to have all this lined up is that back over here, we want to be able to put this at the top so that when you get into your lead connector app, scroll through the contact and you get to the bottom where they have all these little like things set up, you understand these first 3 are going to be what's most important. Then their contact info, then the additional info forms for reviews, and your form for your consultation request, which right now is what we're using. So for a minute, we'll leave that at the top. But this one is what you're going to want, and that's going to have everybody's information in it. So now we've got that in. So what happens when that survey comes in, right? We're going to start an automation, and that is going to be, we're going to start that from scratch. Tattoo.js survey. Nothing yet. So first thing we're going to do is survey submitted. This is different than a form, but only slightly. Add filters. Survey is tattoo consultation form. Save the trigger. We can also say tattoo survey submitted. The more you get into the habit of naming these things, the easier it's going to be. So now we're going to send an internal notification to notification user assigned to the contact. So that's going to go to Alyssa. Hey, Alyssa, this Got new console form in. Can you check this for all the details? And so what we want here is we're going to do first name, email, phone number, Team Strickland reference to placement reference. And then we're going to go ahead and find out what other things we use. First name, last name, email. Let's go. So I think we have everything. The style agreement. We did the pricing confirmation, style confirmation. I think this is everything. If this is not everything, then we can put it in the next one. And eventually we're going to put these buttons here, and those buttons are going to trigger the next workflow. So if it has everything, then we're going to make a button right here that she can push at any time that says this piece has everything. What it's going to do is then trigger a workflow where it's Alyssa booking a phone consultation for James. So we're going to need a calendar for that that's just for consultations. So let's say you want to only do consultations between 10 and 11 on your days off. You know, any amount of time that you can kind of condense this to will allow us to set up a calendar that can do it. And then you can also always say, hey, look, I don't want anything in the next 3 days, and then I don't want anybody to book a consultation more than 10 days. So from this, in the 7 days, 3 days out, they can book anything between the hours of 9 and 11, during which I'm not already tattooing, and I will be on the phone with them. So they can book this on their own. You shouldn't need to do a lot of back and forth. And if it needs more, then it will send a different message from Alyssa that says, and there's probably a couple different ways to set this up, but it will say she can just start messaging from there. We don't really need to do this. But we could also trigger a message that says, hey, please do the survey again. Some of the stuff didn't come through and we need everything. There's going to be a way to simplify that down so that all she should really need to do is just get a thing that's like, yep, everything's there. Boom, done. You don't have to do anything else, which is great because there's so much to get done. We need all hands on deck. But for this instance, now what we're going to do is we know that we have to come back with the trigger links, so we're not really going to worry about it. Now, on the internal notifications, if you're doing just a notification, you can redirect to the conversation. I would go to the contact, or actually I would go to the opportunity, because from the opportunity, if this is just in the opportunity, we can slide it to the next row, which would either be book an appointment or Alyssa needs to call or email and work something out. And we can set up an automation for that too, so that if Alyssa has time, say between 9 and 3 days a week, we can just say that only allow the people to book times to call her during that time, or that she can only book times during that time. So we want to save this, and then we also want to send a text. It's going to say the same thing. Oh no, we want to do another internal. That would have sent it to the client, SMS. I'm going to say this here, but she's not going to need it. She's super smart. The option to move this is in the opportunities. So I rarely use opportunities myself. However, that's for sure the best way to do this. So I'm trying to set everybody up here moving forward in that way. And then what we're going to do is say update an opportunity, pipeline, client journey, pipeline stage, forms have been turned in, opportunity name. We're not worried about this. So here we're going to do first name, tattoo description, name and description, opportunity value. And we know this is already going to be $1,000. Right? Let's say 400 because that's the deposit. And then we'll make in the pipeline that from here, once this comes in, they can go one of two ways. And I obviously deleted something here. So let's go ahead and copy internal SMS, move it in the opportunities. That's it. I think user type, assigned user, no template. We don't need a template. We're going to save this and save. So, and then she should get this at the same time. It should redirect you to the opportunity. So don't even open the app until you've saved all this. Let's go ahead and move this one to here. So the text goes first, and it'll come to her, and it'll say all the information. First name, email, tattoo description, reference 1 and 2, placement, tattoo placement. Let's go ahead and get rid of some of these so it's not so long. And then change this to a capital P, move it in opportunities, and it will come into the opportunities when you click on it. So now we're going to add one more. We're just going to copy all this, Control A, Control C, cancel, confirm, internal notification, email, okay, to the assigned user. The subject is going to be that the consultation form is in. Now we can make this a template so it's dressed up. I normally do that more for external emails than internal. So if you need more please contact the client. If not, please click here. How about this? You can simply click here. Now we can put a link in there in the email so that everything is done. All, in the email we can set it up so there's 2 buttons. Hey, I need more, or ready to go. If you need more, it schedules a call with her and the client. If it's good to go, it schedules a call with him and the client. Then all we have to do is figure out, like, how flexible do you need your schedule, right? And what methods are you going to call over? So the benefits to using a VoIP system like the one here is you can have the whole call recorded and transcribed, which is super easy, right? If you're taking consultations on the road and you're in your car or whatever, and you just need to talk to the person, you don't have to do anything else, then that's a great way to do it, because you can just download your whole transcript and put that into your notes, or you can have AI deal with it, or decide what you need to do later. I send everybody to Zoom so I can get a face-to-face. I can draw for them a little bit. It's kind of the same thing. You let the AI take the notes. You can be more present for the conversation. So far, we have gotten from somebody likes your work on Instagram to get them to comment, send them a DM. Actually, the DM sends them a form which just takes the most basic info so that you have that info for marketing later, because you're not going to need all the other information that you need to collect from them. Then Alyssa sends a message, and that message says, hey, here's the wait time, right? If you're looking for something right now, this is probably not for us. If you're cool with this wait time, then here it is, and there you go. If they click the link that says that's okay, then it automatically takes them to the next survey. The next survey explains everything that's needed, why it's needed, what the pricing is, and everything that they have to agree to be signed up. Once they do that, and they have all the information in, and of course each one of those fields is locked, so they have to fill the thing to be able to get it to you, and then it's come in. So we've gone from Instagram to complete form with all of the information stated, agreed to, explained at each step of the way, and now the form is in. So the next thing we're going to work on is what to do when the form is in. The form has come in, it's come to her, she gets to approve or deny. So we're going to have to set up the approve or deny process and what happens there, and then we got to set up how to get him in touch. So that's going to be it for today. Tune in for the next one, and we'll go from there. All right, so just to wrap this one up, let's go ahead and say we're going to skip this email one. So internal notification, cool. We're just going to delete it. So that is going to come to her, move it in the opportunities. When she opens it in the app, it'll come to the opportunities, and we're going to go to pipeline, client journey. So now we're going to add a couple stages. And the first stage, survey complete, Alyssa contact. So we need, when Alyssa needs to be in touch with somebody, that's going to trigger something special. And for survey complete, we're going to just put this up here. And so when she opens the text message, that person's opportunity is already going to be in the pipeline stage that says their form has been turned in. And this is going to be survey complete, survey to consult. And so what we're going to do here now is that search the trigger, and that's going to be pipeline stage changed. In pipeline, client journey, pipeline stage, survey complete. And then what we're going to do now is we're going to SMS the client and say, hey, this is Alyssa with James. I got your consult. It all looks great. Let's get you set up for some phone time with him. What days and times generally best? And so all we're going to do right now, I'm going to eventually talk them into making a crazier workflow that just automates all this stuff. I don't think they're comfortable with that yet. So for right now, hey, this is Alyssa with James Strickland. I got your consult. It all looks great. And when in between shots here, I've asked them what they want me to do. So I'm not just like writing for her wholesale. And also they'll have the opportunity to come edit whatever they want in here. Got your consult. All looks great. Let's get you set up for some phone time. What days and times are best for you? So all she has to do at this point is she'll get a text message that'll say, hey, here's the message. Cool. You go over to the app. You look in the app. When you look in the app, all you do is slide it to the next spot over where it goes from form to phone consultation or whatever's next to it. I just set it up, whatever I said just a second ago. And then that is going to, because you've slid that over, that's going to automatically trigger this message, right? So now we're trying to this is not empty. What are you talking about? Bam. I don't know why I did that. Let's see. So that's that. So for right now, that's the end of what I can do for them, right? As we've gotten from Instagram all the way to a completed form, and we're gonna actually, let's go ahead and do this again. We're gonna go back to workflows, and we're gonna trigger this based on, again, a pipeline status changed, and that's gonna come down all the way here to a list of contact and say, again, hey, this is Alyssa with James Strickland, I got your console, but need to follow up. What days and times are generally best for you? And again, they can change this to be whatever they want. All we want to do is just assume he's done this 100 times in a year, she's done this 100. Like, everybody's very familiar with the situation. I'm probably the least familiar with their situation, so I don't want to mess anything up. I just want to make it as easy as possible. So for right now, all she's probably had to do to even know that this person is in touch is that the survey has come in after that first initial contact. She doesn't actually get that, or she gets that, but the message gets sent automatically, I guess is what I should say. And then when the survey comes, she can either slide it to the next row over, or she can slide it all the way to the end, which triggers her need to communicate with anybody, right? And so save action. And what that is going to look like is if I come here to the opportunities and I find this one, right? Testy Testerson consultation. That's what I tested. Now, if I were to say survey complete, I'm going to get a text message back that says, awesome, let's do it. If I then swipe it all the way down to Alyssa contact, that's going to set another workflow. And the difference between those workflows is just one message. So what we're going to want to do with both of those workflows now, Alyssa needs a chat. Actually, this was in a draft, so I'm going to need to publish it. And what we want to do here is put in a wait step, and we're going to wait for condition. Trigger link clicked, event appointment time. There's not a timing option in here. Generate a one-time booking link, date and time formatter. We're just going to do it whenever the people do the thing. So we should be able to set a time. And I guess what I'm looking for is probably not actually a problem for them. For me, if I get a message in the middle of the night, I'll just swipe it over and do the thing. But if you do that, then it's going to just start sending those messages back and forth in the middle of the night. So a lot of times you can put it's called a wait step, and you can tell that wait step, don't move forward until you're within this window, and that window can be 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Friday through Tuesday, or whatever however you want it to be. So for right now, we're just going to leave it like that. We have all this stuff done. Person shows interest. We have to update the links to make sure everything's good. So person shows interest. The initial contact form gets sent so that there's not too much for them to put in or think about before we get their information. The booking time frame is sent out to make sure that they agree to that. If they agree to that, they go directly to the form. On the form, it explains all of the information that is needed, as well as requires them to take it, and explains all of the policies that are going to be important along the way. Once the form gets turned in and everything is agreed to, filled out, which is the only way to get the form turned in, it will go to Alyssa. Will look at it in her text messages and say, that looks awesome. She'll open up the app and she'll slide it over by one notch, and that will set up a phone consultation with either Alyssa or with James. For right now, we have it just set up so that in both instances, it's her asking the person for their free time, what days and what their availability is like, and then that's it. So for right now, we've just dealt with consultation handling today for James Strickland, and that's pretty good. They've dictated everything. I went ahead and put it into the workflows, split a couple of different forms, which I think is going to actually serve them better at the end of the day, and then also split up the pricing, deposit, and booking information so that that can be in the custom values and can be used as we move forward. And then anytime we're using that, like sending one of these messages later on, instead of having to come back and hunt down all the messages that you had your old pricing plan in, you just fix it in that one custom values area and you're good to go. We've added all of the custom fields so that Alyssa will get this message or these texts in her phone as well as in the app. The next step would be going further and saying, okay, cool, now that you're approved to book, here's my booking link along with my deposit link, and keeping all of that shit together. You could also set it up so that you send a one-time payment link that's not attached to the calendar, and you do that for your deposits. I'm wondering if there's a problem there The issue there is you can send the one-time link and then people can't get into your calendar to book themselves. I believe you could also set it up so that when you approve, once the deposit link is turned in, it sends the booking calendar and then they can book whatever they want. Just on talking to James before, where he tends to take one deposit per appointment instead of the deposit for the whole tattoo, it's almost better to work out on the calendar, because the calendar will just say, hey, here's your dates, here's what it's going to cost. What's free can already be blocked out. You know, you only have to put the stuff on one calendar to end up blocking it all out at the end of the day. And then the calendar takes the information and takes the deposit and does everything. The cool part about that also is that then the client gets the links to reschedule and cancel. So you don't even have to deal with the rescheduling and canceling, because the clients have the link to do it themselves. They already know that the deposit is a thing, and you can put that into that the deposit is non-refundable, and you can put that into your reschedule and cancellation links. And that's it. That's all we got for today. So hopefully that was informative and exhaustive, and I'll see you on the next one.